We will open the meeting for Monday, January 4th.
24th.
What is, 24th, you're right, yeah. Entertain a motion to accept the approval of the agenda as may be amended.
So moved.
Uh,
I don't see any.
I don't have anything.
Do we want, is the golf course here? Is anybody here from the golf course?
David just, he sent me an email back and,
So he's not here?
yeah.
Okay, so I was just gonna say if he was here, then we move him up.
Yeah,
But
No,
he's not here.
He's on his way to Hilton
Whatever.
Head. or
Okay.
whatever it is.
I think it's, it looks mostly just an update of what they're spending
Yeah,
over the
okay.
winter.
Good enough.
Okay, all in favor of the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye. Make a motion to approve the minutes of January 10th.
Okay,
I'm good with it.
I didn't have anything there. The, that was good for me.
All right.
All in favor of the minutes, accepting the minutes of January 10th, please say aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written as January 11th.
Yeah, I can't do that one. That was the one that I was not at.
So we're gonna
Probably
have to
should change
take,
it.
we're gonna have to take your name off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she just went by who was supposed, so.
Oh, no, she just listed everybody, that's all.
Yeah,
Yep.
That
so,
was one I didn't make too.
so we'll just take, it's just a little clerical, take off January 11th. Steve Finneran is it there, okay? So, in favor, aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 19th, and we were all there at
Yep.
that one.
We were all here, and
It was executive session,
this
so,
was really just.
yep, meeting up with the fire department.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have anything that's not already?
I'm good here right now.
You good, Chris?
Yep, good right now.
Okay. Anybody that's zoomed in, do you have something you want to bring up that's not already on the agenda? Please signify, put up a hand,
Or speak
unmute
up.
yourself. Oh, I thought Polly was coming on, but she's just,
No, just the video.
no, just a video. I don't see any, because it goes to the top if they.
Yeah, if they
unmute.
raise their hand, it goes to the top.
Okay. So seeing nothing, we will go to Board of Liquor Control. I believe Peggy Neisner is sitting in tonight. So Peggy, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, there's a,
Thank you.
so there's 5 renewals.
Yeah,
Yamarama, CSK, Deli at Killington Corners, otherwise known, Mac Daddy Corp., Lookout Bar and Grill, New World Developments, Vermont is the Summit Lodge, and Fire Truck Brewery is Casey's Caboose. It looks like all of these things, nothing is changing at all.
right.
On the far right-hand side, it looks like all the fees have been paid, and the last enforcement seminars seem to be all up to date, because they're good for, what, 2 years? So it's all there. So I'm gonna make a motion for the town clerk to move forward with the January 24th list of liquor renewal licenses for 2022 as stated for those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies.
Okay.
Chris can't vote, so it's just you and I.
Right. I just have one question. Under Mac Daddy Corp. Lookout,
Yeah.
why does it say 2 in parentheses?
He has
Is
the
that for
upstairs
upstairs and
and then he
down?
has that down.
So they need 2, one for up and one for down?
Yeah, they kind of left those licenses, so when I did the license at the
Yeah.
Jack's too, I still had 2 outside consumption
Oh,
permits.
you're front and back.
Front and back.
Yeah.
And so I've
Okay.
just, I questioned it when I
Yeah.
actually did mine.
All right, I just wanted to
So
make
hopefully
sure.
at some point it can go away.
And we're renewing these things at this time, and
Yeah.
COVID still is in place, so we're going forward with it.
Okay, all right. Do we need to sign this? It says number of members present.
No.
No, she writes in, so-
in.
Okay.
So it's just
All in
2.
favor of Jim's motion to have the town clerk go ahead with these license renewals, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
All right.
And abstain. And you have an update for us? COVID update?
Oh, yeah, we wanted to bring to the public's attention that the town has purchased 125 COVID tests that are rapid tests that we are giving to the elementary school for their use. We got the invoice today, we're taking care of that, and I think Jim picked those up,
Picked them
correct?
up and dropped them off. They were already out. The state had put a plan into place, and they already ran out for what they needed. Mary called me, located 125, town bought them. I believe the fire department, Gary, the fire chief, is put in for 100.
But another 100, and also for a school-wide testing that we're waiting to get scheduled.
Yeah, so Mary was very happy with the 125 today. She said today was like, they ran out on Friday, but luckily today, they didn't have any cases showing up, but the 125 should last them a little bit. Hopefully, we get the other 100 really quick. I think WIT is still looking in to find out if there, that one email, if there's some more available, so. But we'll see how long this 125 and other 100 last, and we'll get the answer back on the
Well, on the
others.
plus side, at least the numbers are declining. So
Yeah.
Yes,
That's what's important.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
Yep.
so.
Okay. And that'll just...
And we don't need a motion on that because you're just taking it out of the offer funds anyway.
Yeah. So,
So, all right?
And do we need to do anything in terms of distributing? Do we have to set anything? up?
I
They've already
brought
been
them over to
distributed.
Mary.
Okay,
so they're all
I
there.
picked them up today and brought them over at lunchtime,
all right,
all right?
all righty,
She says thank you to the whole board and the town.
okay. That's our update. So, has this parking ordinance been rewritten in some way?
Yeah, we.
Because we got a couple points.
Yeah, the modifications that were requested at the last select board meeting have been made, which was to eliminate the M, which was picking locations where there's no parking. We don't need that because there's no parking anywhere. The updates to section 3 and section 4, and then the proper fine amounts, which was the 3A to N are $50, which are all the standard parking ones. O and P, or O, this would have been N and O, I typed that wrong.
It's N and O on mine.
Yeah. Oh, it's on yours, N and O? Okay, yeah, that's, yeah. So it's basically the one that is during ski season and the one parked in, handicap
Handicap
spaces
spaces.
are $100 fine versus the rest of them being 50.
So we're saying, I mean, there's no parking at all on any highway, public street or highway.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Round the clock, 24 hours.
Correct.
And then in N,
I know, it's,
we're going to, now you got the cop that has to say, is it 12:01 or is it 8 o'clock AM or whatever?
We can knock that out. I
You
was just,
know,
the idea was
so-
that during
So
plow
to
season.
me, it's just, on any public street or highway, during the period from November 1 to April 1st, that's for the plowing guys, it's $100, not between 12 o'clock and, the whole idea of winter is
Okay.
because of plowing. So we do get snow in the daytime too.
Yeah.
So just take out the 12 o'clock to,
Put in plowing season, during plow
right,
season.
okay?
Yep.
Okay, and I have a question, because we discussed this before. We want to try and put in some parking at the bridge down on River Road.
When you say bridge, you mean the boardwalk?
Well, the boardwalk,
Yeah.
the boardwalk, yeah.
Where we're
Well,
going,
Wood that
yeah,
crosses water.
yeah.
Isn't that a bridge? No, it's more of a boardwalk,
Yeah.
and it is handicap accessible, which is great. So, I believe that's something the planning commission is looking at, the possibility?
No, the town, well, they're looking into possibly extending parking or something in that area, but not the parking sign. We're already allowing parking on one side of the
Yes.
road, but since this ordinance is saying there is no parking allowed on
Right.
town, instead of putting up all the no parking zones, we had said as a board that we would just put up in the areas where you're allowed to park down in that area.
Correct.
And I think it would be the same on Kent Pond,
Yeah.
but that's a
Yes.
state, is that a state?
The state owns it's the
road there?
town road, state-owned, the whole dam is state-owned and managed,
Right,
but we own, we have the right-of-way for the roadway itself.
right, okay. So wherever we say that there's going to be allowed parking on a town
gonna put a
road, there'll
sign
be a
up.
parking sign.
Permitted parking.
Permitted
Right.
parking
Permitted
between
parking.
signs or something.
I would like to see that, especially when it comes to the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Just, I think we see a lot of times where there is increased traffic, and yes, there is handicapped accessibility, but it's a draw for people to go out there.
No, I know
So
that.
I think,
And one of the things we're looking at, because we did,
Buses pulling it in.
And
we
they're
did
on-
have,
and they're
we
on
did
both
have
sides of the
a,
road.
Yeah.
we did have a conversation, because it's, that one's federal and state involved, and looking at where we could get parking, and the side where the wetlands are not. The issue's gonna be, is there the ability to put something on the other side of the road? That's what we're
But
gonna
that's
have to
what the
look
planning
at.
commission.
Right, that's part of what we have to look at.
That has
It's
nothing-
not gonna be easy.
That has nothing to do with the parking ordinance.
Right, no.
At this
maybe we can
time.
get a grant.
And they will, well, could be,
You never know.
could be for that. Okay,
So,
so,
You're just
So then
making
one
that change.
can you vote on
You
this?
could-
Are you okay voting on this with
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna
one
make a
change?
motion to accept the parking ordinance with the one change on 3N,
And,
right.
to take out the hours. It's all day long between November 1 and April 1. Okay?
Yep.
And then if you do that, then tomorrow morning I'll go down and sign.
Well, we're gonna have to have a special meeting on Thursday,
Okay, so then I'll sign on
and
Thursday.
we'll just do, we'll just sign
We'll
them on
be here
Thursday.
anyway Thursday for the VEPSI
Well,
board
that's,
meeting.
and then I'm probably gonna set up a meeting like right at the end of that,
Okay.
so that we can actually do the warning if there's any adjustments made to the
Right.
budget tonight, which,
Okay.
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 All right. So we are up to, budget for 2023.
Yep,
And tax implications.
yeah, basically, we've gone through and adjusted the budget. I would say one of the bigger items, when you look at how the numbers align, it doesn't really change the bottom line, although it did go down just a hair. We've put in the total salary amount under all of the paid positions, whether they're hourly or salaried, and we've eliminated the section at the end which had the separate,
My confusion question.
his confusion question.
In terms of vacation and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is now a zeroed out line item, and because it basically comes, it's included in everybody's pay anyway, so we've put it in the pay so it aligns. Because the other problem that it really did create was, if you look at the position and how it's budgeted, everybody's different because they have different vacation packages. So this is a much cleaner way and is far more accurate.
That's all I've been asking for
You got it, and you got it.
12 years. Long before you were here, Chad.
I know. Well, we're finally, we're picking a lot of these off.
Yeah.
It's taking time, but we're getting there.
And I see Mark is here, so you've gone through everything on this, Mark, and you're good with the way we're...
I've spent most of my time on the golf side.
Right.
I'm in golf land. So, but on the town side, yes, I worked on the debt side of it and some other sections. It's really a representation of your department managers
Right.
presenting their budget earlier, and then the final changes that we make as the process continues.
Okay. So just let Mark just go through it before, okay, on the payroll side of switching that one move?
Yeah, we did go over that. He just needs to now review what I did, so he's aware of it.
Yeah,
We
it should
did
be
talk
no-
about how we were gonna change that's being allocated.
Yeah, I mean, we got... So, Whit, can you hear Mark from back there? I just want to make sure. I'm going to call on you, Whit, since you're the first one up. You there, Whit?
Yeah, I'm here.
Were you able to hear Mark speak?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I just want to make sure.
Oh, so that-
That, it's a good
Microphone's
speaker.
helping.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so are there any other questions on this?
Well, just so everyone's aware, so what we did, the totals, the total to be raised by taxes is $4,335,125. Last year was
Yeah.
$4,261,501. The increase is $73,000. Right now, the budgeted difference from last year's tax rate to this year's is 1.46 cents. As it sits right at this moment. It's about 1.2 cents less than we predicted when we did the 2019 prediction throughout. So we're right in kind of where we want it to be. And you know, there's been some conversation about some other line items, and we can address those.
I want to go to page 6 of 6.
6 of 6.
Well, it says 6 of 6. It's the golf course, the bond or whatever,
Oh, golf course.
I was like,
but it's in the whole budget.
right,
Oh,
no,
okay.
that's fine,
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
I'm
didn't,
sorry.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
this
keeping
is-
up.
So on the golf course side,
Yep.
I just want to make sure because it's showing their totals of all funds, so I guess that's their positive or whatever at the end of the year. And then it's saying principal 147, the $1.183 million loan, I guess.
Yep.
And then there's a 5 million that's October 20,000 and a 545K October for 35. But at the bottom, it says cash provided by ops, 60,739. What is that?
Okay, and Mark can speak to this if he wants. We were trying to get this aligned with how the auditor's been putting the funds through. So go ahead, Mark, and you can bring them up to speed.
So the reason I pointed this out is because the net income, let's say, is shown as 263.
Right.
But in reality, those principal payments need to be made, and they'll be made by the golf course. So I didn't want you to get too excited that the golf course was going to be able to contribute $263,000 this next year.
So I wasn't excited because I kind of figured.
Okay. But, so it just highlights the fact that we have to make those principal payments, and then the net income, let's say, is the 60,000, not the 263.
Okay, and so then if I go to an email that you had sent me and everybody, I think, Chet, on the bond payments itself for the golf course
Yeah.
Okay?
at some point, do you have that email that you sent us, Chet?
How long ago was that?
Just last week. Manager.
So those are just the principal amounts that are due, the interest
That's right.
the interest is
The
already
interest is
calculated.
reflected in
Well,
page
Inside.
5.
Okay.
And the thing to keep in mind is, and one of the reasons it shows this way, because the revenue that comes from the town to the golf course, that is, we fund payments to the bonds, is considered a revenue to the golf course, but the payment is made out of liability, so it's reducing our liability. It's not listed as an expense on that side,
Okay,
so
so
it
you're
shows.
bringing that in as revenue.
Right, and that's.
What line do you bring that in on?
It's actually
Page
here on the
1.
front page.
Yeah.
It says 114, 178 debt payments, right at the top.
So that's 70,000 of the principal and 30, whatever the difference is.
And that's the number that's going over to the
interest.
golf course
That's-
after we subtract
This
it.
is just the principal.
Correct.
No,
That's the
the
whole thing.
114 is not.
What is
That's
that?
the town's contribution to the 180+ thousand payment that's due on August 23rd.
Okay.
Normally, they would have provided the entire 184.
Okay, so that's where I was getting at, so I was trying to find
So
that
we
email.
reduced that by 70,000.
That shows that there was like $183,000, I don't have the email, but there was a $183,000 payment on there.
Yeah.
So when we first started this, we were saying that we wanted them to pay the $5 million and the $585,000 notes on their own, the 20 and the 35.
That's right, that's about 60K.
Okay, and then when we tried to do that, we wanted to do another penny, I thought, okay? That we said that instead of having them pay back the debt, because that would not roll the way we wanted it to roll.
Correct.
That they would make the payment on their own.
Right.
So out of all the debt, there should be like, it's 183, and then the other two here, is that principal and interest totally?
No, it's just principal.
It's just the principal, okay? So they should be paying about 140,000 of the total of the debt.
Yeah, because
Principal
what
and
we did is
interest.
we reduced the 1.183 refinance number from 147,000
47.
down to 75,000. That was the 72,000 we transferred to that.
Right, okay. But then these other two, they were going to pay before we did that on their own,
That's correct, the 20 and the 35.
Yes.
with the interest only.
And the interest that's due.
And
Right,
the interest is.
So that's your
in the budget.
60,000.
right.
35, 20, And then on page 5, it shows two interest amounts, 4165 and 2452. That's your 60.
Okay, so then when we come back to page 1 with that one, I'm sorry, my eyes are
114?
114. How far down the line is that?
Right up there.
Right on the top,
Right in
third one
first
from the
section.
top.
Okay. So the money that we're sending over from the town to them is a total of how much, Mark? Debt
That's your
payments?
revenue number of 114.
And that's
town-
the revenue coming over from the town?
That's correct, and you'd see that reflected in the town's debt payments.
Right, so if I add up
Next year.
114, 178 with approximately around $140,000, $150,000 that they're paying out of their own, would equal up to all these payments here. Correct?
Well, because you got, and you got the 75 and the 36 on the town side, that's the 114.
We have about we have about $300,000 worth of total debt that's due on these bonds, the 183, the 20, and the
180, yeah,
35. The town is kicking over 114 of it.
correct.
Okay,
And that's reflected in their budget.
right, okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say. Perfect.
So, everything else, other than those items, stayed the same on the town side. I did make the adjustment to the electrical to the right one. The one thing I will want you to keep in mind, since this is the first year we're in with the solar thing, the allocations, we're not 100% sure where they're gonna go, but the total should be good.
Right.
You're better off short. Just telling you.
So it's gonna, yeah, because the other thing is like, there is a 40% figure that the garage system is generating that actually gets charged to the golf course, so we gotta move that over as well.
Right.
So these are all things that we're working on, getting these allocations straightened up.
Okay. So at the end of the day, you're telling me there's an increase to the town budget from the previous year to be collected by property taxes by about $70-something thousand.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the 01.
And that was with all the, when we had to do the payroll increases and everything
And
else.
that's with the
because of
changes in the payroll increases, and, you know, the bulk of the savings comes from the $69,000 we're carrying over, and then the golf course taking care of some of their own debt.
Right,
Okay.
all
You
right.
good on that budget information?
Yeah, I am.
Very good.
Okay. Town meeting articles, and under fire department confirmations, you said Gary wanted to
Well,
talk to us, is that something?
Yeah, I mean, Gary was
We're gonna
he's
do
gonna
in-
stop in,
Yeah, why don't we just do an executive
Can we
session with,
do that particular?
Because I'm-
they're out on
executive
they're out
What
on a
time, what
call
time,
anyway.
yeah, he's out, so,
Let's wait till we get to number 12, and then you could tell them how soon,
okay.
all right?
Okay, so then we have the town meeting warning and informational meeting location.
Yeah, basically, the way this is drawn up at this time, and the state did put through what do you call it? Rules so that we would then, they're allowing this to be a fully remote town meeting. The assumption is that's the way the plan is. I know that the church is going to do the dinner prior. They're gonna do it here, and it's gonna be just drive-through. There will be nobody staying. We're still doing it like we did last year. So unless there's a desire to have an in-person location, because I don't think the school's gonna be an option that quickly.
Well, I think we should have it in, we're having all of our meetings in
Okay.
person.
Okay,
Just use this building for the town informational meeting night.
okay,
And, you know, if people want to show up, they can show up.
okay.
You know, PEG TV is making it to the
Yep.
places,
No,
and,
that would be great.
you know, so let's just have our
But
meeting
we'll still have
here.
it Zoom.
But no, it has to be Zoom,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
but if somebody wants to show up, they can show up.
Yeah,
If they
so it'll-
don't, it's Zoom.
Okay, so that was the key, it's
Yeah.
here and possibly. then
We will have a physical location,
Here, this year, plus
Yes.
Zoom, okay.
all right?
Yep. And,
So this address, we're supposed to meet at the town office on 2076 River Road?
that's for the actual town meeting day, that's where the voting takes
That's
place.
the votes.
Oh, just for the vote.
Just for the vote.
Right,
And right now, I have it via electronic on the other, I have to add this location
right,
to the second article.
Okay.
right, and that's February 28th?
Yes.
28th at 7 o'clock.
Monday the
yeah.
Right,
28th.
which is a Monday, so it doesn't interfere with the fire
No.
Tuesday meetings. All right, and then we got Article 1, it's the blah, 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 blah. Article 2 is just how the taxes are paid, it's just nothing's changed there. Article 3, shall the voters approve total general fund expenditures of which an estimated 69,000 shall be applied from the 2021 fund balance. 4,335,000 shall be raised by property taxes and whatever is estimated property. Okay, so that was the, there was $78,000 in 2021 that we knew of that was a carryover.
Correct.
Prior
Yeah.
to us moving the ARPA funds over to,
Correct.
and the ARPA fund money that we moved over, that it was 69,000, I guess?
No, 50, now I'm gonna go blank.
So
I have it in here. I actually did it that way so I wouldn't forget.
there was 78,000 plus 59? Were we splitting it, or we were making
No,
it?
what we did is I added the two together and split them in half.
Okay, so can you give me the two, so it's
Wait
just,
a minute, just give me a second. Actually did it, I did the math on here so I wouldn't mess it up. It was 78, 832, and 59, 675. It's up in the formula.
138,507,
Correct.
and you're dividing that by two.
Two, and 69 was.
$69,253. Okay. Shall be applied to, and then the other 60, and underneath it, the other 69,000 is going to the general fund balance, of the general fund balance, to the reserve fund that we approved as voters back in 2018. 19?
19. yeah.
In 19. And then the next question is, because when we approved in 19, the ballot to start a reserve fund, now we're going in and saying the undesignated funds of 706,953, we're asking because you shouldn't have an undesignated fund. The state
Correct.
doesn't talk about that.
No, right.
I have multiple emails from 2012 from Jim Barlow and Seth Webb on that conversation. So now we're moving that money over because we have a reserve fund started.
Correct.
Okay, that $706,000, just if anybody's listening,
Yep.
is not a slush fund. It's supposed to be for specific
Right.
things, so, and it would have to
Just
come in
hasn't
front of
been
the
assigned
board.
yet.
It just has to go from assigned to
Yep.
the reserve.
Right.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Number 6,
I
we're
guess
gonna wait for
we'll
Gary.
We'll talk to Gary, and David's
Right.
here, so we'll do
David's
that
already here.
afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 7 is the planning commission, correct?
Yeah, it's basically to establish a special projects reserve fund, which would go for things that were unexpected, it may go to some projects that are already listed. The key to keep in mind with this is the $75,000 that's budgeted to go here and the $100,000 in the transfer are funds that already exist and were in the budget before, they're just changing line items, so this is not an increase to the expense for capital fund expenditures.
Right.
This is just a relocation, for lack of a better word.
So now when we go back to article number 5, because we had set up a reserve fund.
Yeah.
Okay, and then now, and we didn't, so there is a $180-something thousand in the Killington Road thing,
It's in the walkway.
in the walkway. We're looking to move 100,000 of that over to this, shall the town establish a new special project reserve fund? I think there should be another article then asking us to move 100,000 from there.
Okay.
Yeah, relocation would be a better word to use.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not looking at additional.
Well, I can,
Right.
yeah.
No, but what
'cause
I'm getting is you have to take it out of one, it's already a fund set up, we have to move it over.
Yep,
So there,
Yep,
the other
you're right.
75,000 for this year
is going directly
is
there.
in the budget saying it's going there,
Right.
but it has to be approved first.
And I want everybody to be aware, when we set up the sustainable fund for the walkway, that money is all staying there. Last year, because there was a thought about accelerating a project, we would have, basically a special project, $100,000 in there last year, and that's the amount of money we're moving into the
Yeah.
other special project.
I just want to make sure that we're setting up
Yep.
the reserve fund now, but we're looking to in the budget, we're looking to say 75,000 is going to it,
And we gotta move the 100.
and then we gotta move the 100 out of that reserve fund with a vote. And then the other two items on here are just two new, which
The donations.
they're donations, and they're both really good donation companies, so. But once you're on, you're on.
Oh, Gary's here.
So you do the first vote, and then they're on.
Yeah.
Okay?
So the only two things I need to modify on this is location and the 100K, we gotta add that item. And then the only other question is there any other changes to budgets or anything else? And that's what we'll talk about later.
I think, yeah. We could go through it again, and then, we don't have to do it until Thursday, really.
Correct.
So, all right.
So,
So that's the budget update, and that's the meeting location.
Yeah, with Mark's thing, have we basically looked at the golf financials?
I mean, Mark, you want to just give us a rundown
On the golf,
on the golf, just an overview?
of where we are today, the financials, the end December financials, that,
yeah, I don't think I have.
Well, I mean, I think I'd rather hear from you, Mark, of like,
I
where
can
where
speak
you
to-
came in and started
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in July, and then where you are today.
Yep. One of the things I've been doing is that the golf courses in general, work on calendar years. They don't work on fiscal years. So part of what I've done is went into the system, I've gone back as far as 2017 and dumped data based on what NIMRIC can provide me, and I'm manipulating in Excel. So I'm able to look at where we've been on a calendar year basis from 2017 right up through December. On the other spectrum, we, as a town, work on fiscal year. So the idea of this is that we can look at it both ways. It's more valuable to the golf course if you want to talk to them about financial performance, but at the same time, we have to stick to a fiscal year. I've spent quite a considerable amount of time going back into the history and restating things for comparative purposes, so that when we look at how we did in 17, 18, 19, regardless of whether it was good or bad, at least the numbers are consistently applied up to present. So that's been a thrust of what I was trying to accomplish there. For the 21 side, they had a good season, very positive, and they're on track. In part, how they will finish on a fiscal year basis will determine what the spring is like, snow cover, et cetera, and how fast they get out of the gate in May and June to finish up the fiscal year.
That's the 22 that we're in.
right.
Yeah.
We're in
22.
20, yeah,
122.
Yeah. Okay.
And on the cash side, on the treasurer's report, we currently have $274,000 in the pro shop and $125,000 in the restaurant. So we're in January, basically, at the end of December, we have about $400,000 in cash in there, and that doesn't have any debt tied to it. I'm in the process, and we'll probably do that at the February meeting of re-upping the equity loan, so that we have it in case we need it. We're just gonna get it up and we don't have to take anything out, but we will have it ready. But right now, it looks like we wouldn't need that till the earliest June. If we need that then.
Okay, so the 274 mark and the 125 is giving us the 400, but there is $102,000 that is restricted. So there's only $300,000 that's
I'm sorry, I'm not looking at what you are.
the treasurer's report.
Yes, I'm sorry, I don't have that available. If I
Okay.
can, then I can,
There you go. So I'm looking at the pro shop. There's 274, 356 in the middle of the page.
okay,
And then at the bottom for the restaurant, golf service company, whatever.
Yep.
125. At what point do we move Because the golf course to start up, they normally only have about 20,000, 25,000 over there for the restaurant.
Yeah, typically, we do that when cash flow needs, you know, I'm looking at it as we may not have to do that till April 1st.
No. What I'm getting at is that we normally only give the restaurant
Oh,
like
25,000.
25,000, and then at this point, we normally move that money up to the pro shop.
Right.
And then that way, it will be showing that there's 374,000 up there, and then 102,000 of that is restricted. So that actually would be really 272 that's available to get them to June with their payments and stuff.
Correct.
It really is just a simple transfer from one
Yeah.
account to the other.
So, but, I mean, usually normally we would switch because they're doing so well now, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
But normally, it's not.
Yeah, we had to do it at the beginning of December every year in order to make our payment,
Normally, it
which
used
we
to be,
haven't had.
it used to be $5,000 that was left after July, after August. But then they would have to do another switch back to get them so they could order their liquor and everything
Right.
else. So I'm saying, let's make that transfer so we're clean getting into the new start of putting 100,000 up to the pro shop and leaving the 25,163 over at the restaurant.
Yeah, that's something that Lucretia would take care of.
Yeah, so if we can do that, Chet, then that would be great, because we don't have really $400,000 to, because we have some restricted funds,
Yep.
and that has to go.
Yep.
So, the only thing on the golf course budget that I'm gonna say to David, or whatever, is that we did make a promise, Steve, you and I, that we would look into this about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays at the restaurant and the driving range is to be open until 7 o'clock at
Open later.
night.
Yeah.
Okay?
And David will be at the next select board meeting, so when we meet on, I think it's February 7th, we can have that conversation with them.
Right.
To make sure that they're considering
Well, there's
that.
really there's no conversation. We want the restaurant to be open up till 7 o'clock Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I apologize for making it sound like it was a debate. I knew, a conversation just was, that's what we were gonna.
And to
let
make it
them know.
even better, because a couple of people have said it would be really nice if they had the bags of balls over behind the
Yeah.
kitchen, so that if somebody wanted to hit around the balls when they get off of work at 5 or 6 o'clock, it's there.
Okay.
Other than that, they're doing a great job.
No, they're doing good. Now, question, back when, we used to have to borrow $250 to get them started, and then we changed it to where they could just draw what they needed.
Still.
Yeah, which is still how it is. With these balances, would they even need to borrow
That's
against
what
that?
Chet had just mentioned, that he's gonna renew the 250 just in case.
Well, so it's there.
So it's there, so it's your home equity line of
But we
credit,
don't-
but you don't pay anything unless you
We don't
draw
pay
on
anything
it.
unless we borrow.
Unless you
Last
draw.
year, the only thing we borrowed last year, and I want to say it was either the last week of May or the first week of June, we borrowed 100,
Yeah,
for cash flow reasons.
Right.
right, but we're in a lot better position than we were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
each year gets stronger, and the goal is, at some point, I would like to have that 250 as the balance, and we would never need to do that again.
Right. You're opening up the line,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's available, we don't pay until we draw,
correct.
and hopefully we don't draw.
And that's we always hope that, and that'd be great if we didn't have to. And last year, we probably only needed 50, but we weren't sure, so we drew the 100.
Okay.
That's been paid back.
And that's been paid back out of all, and that still gives
Net of
us
this
the 400, then there's 100 for
400, the
whatever.
100's been taken care of.
I mean, for us to be sitting here and saying at the end of December, because these sheets are
Yeah.
for the end of December, that there's $300,000 sitting in, after the restricted funds, it's amazing.
Yes. No, the transformation has been outstanding.
And on top of it, they're making some $150,000 or $160,000 worth of bond payments this next year coming in, that's in our vote.
That's correct.
Right.
And then did you get Chris's answer? Because on the 2 bonds or whatever, one of them we know is over this year, but there was another one that might be into '23. You can
Weren't
come
sure
back to
where
that.
it was. Just
Yeah,
by the
I
way,
just-
fiscal year. That was-
Yeah, and I just.
You can get back, we don't need
I'll
that.
get you that, so I apologize, I forgot.
But I'm hoping when we hit 2024, that when they have a good year, then they just basically pay all their bonds. Because there'll only be one plus one more year of the other little one.
Yeah, I can't remember which fiscal year the 20 and the 35s were.
I have it mapped out.
Yeah, and I know, and I had it too, and I didn't bring that with me.
But that's a
so-
question for the 2024 budget
Correct.
anyway.
Okay.
So, that's golf.
Do you have more for town financials than what we did with the budget?
Well, the budget is the budget, then there's
Right.
the actual comparative report, which
Yep.
is the last item.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at this point in the year, we're about halfway through. Our net expenditures are really where they should be. We have funded all of our restricted funds, we have funded all of our capital. We've made a significant, most of the bond payments at this point. We have a couple that are due in May. But, you know, we're tracking really where we should be tracking. I don't see anything, you know, there wasn't anything out there that's, you know, like last year where we had the FEMA thing come up and we had to pay $51,000 back. We don't have anything like that going on, so I think
Right.
we're in a pretty good place. So I don't have a lot to say about the current budget. And then on the restricted fund side, we have about $5.5 million in the fund, and about $2.479 million is restricted funds, so we're still having a healthy balance, and we still have one more tax payment due. So I think we're running right on schedule for where we normally are.
So, I didn't say anything in Selectmen's concerns, because it is in here. So when we go, so on the first page of this comparative budget, and then underneath zoning, the rental registrations,
Yeah.
this is, when we started setting the rates that came out, Steve, for when we were told there was $700, $800 or whatever, and we did not want to, we were trying to make this easy, simple.
Right.
You gotta stick to what your septic system is and how many bedrooms in your CO. It's not simple, because we got still like the 15 or 20% of the people, unfortunately for the other 80% of the people, they're just filing and doing things right.
Right.
You know, it's not simple. And we're getting brought into hearings. Sometimes we have to bring in a lawyer to make sure we're doing everything right or whatever. So at some point in executive session, I want to talk about something in here, and it would be underneath a contract with, and then we'll go from, and we'll come back out.
Yeah.
I just want to be, I mean, I wish people would just understand that it really is just to, my biggest issue with rentals at this point, and has always been, is that our water is not great in Killington, and it doesn't work really great when you have septic and water on private wells. And if we're overflowing our septic systems, it's not good. And we still have people pushing the envelope. So I'm gonna leave it to that until we come out of executive session.
Sure.
Are we doing a treasurer's report tonight? Because she's not here.
Well, the treasurer.
Peggy
Unless
was here.
Peggy's gonna do it.
I'll make a motion to accept the Treasury Report of December 31st, 2021 as is.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Because we've already
And then when
gone
we
through it.
see our January or February, we'll see the money move over from the restaurant too,
Yeah.
okay?
Right. Do you have a manager's report?
Just a couple of items.
Yeah.
One is I wanted to make the board aware that we've hired a communications person. Basically, it's part of the budget of the library and the rec. They each have 10 hours a week for that, which is going to keep all of our media and social media and websites up to date with what's going on. They're doing it within the budget that was approved for their assistance in those processes. So I think that's going to work out very well. Secondly, on this PA system, it's coming in pieces and parts. We're still using our loaner, but I would expect in the next week to 10 days, because we're supposed to get another piece tomorrow, but they're coming from like all over the place, the different parts. So we will have a permanent one, and we will be able to streamline this and reduce the wires. We will have, it's actually going to be sealing microphones so that people in the back are able to do it, and we don't have to run cords through the building, so that is all in process and will be here shortly. And the backhoe we ordered about 9 months ago just came in, so we will be starting with that and
When the
doing the
ground
trade-in on the other.
defrosts,
What's that?
when the ground is, frost level is away.
Yeah, well, well, actually, we do use it for snow removal and things of that nature, so it's a good thing, you know, and we're still waiting for here if loaders are even gonna come around, so we've been waiting for that as well. So those things are happening, and just a reminder, we have a special meeting on Thursday, with VEPSI, the Vermont Economic Progress Council. That starts at 10:15 in the morning, it will be here and online, and it'll be,
All
the
day.
presentation for an hour and 45 minutes, an hour break for lunch, and then we go to public comment. And immediately thereafter, we will have the special meeting where we will do the actual warning. So I will warn both of those things tomorrow, so we have those set. The agenda and the official public hearing notices have been posted on the website.
Right, since you're giving us an update like on this sound system and the backhoe, where is the how long ago did we order the furniture for this building?
It's due before March 1st. We were
March.
supposed to have it, they virtually promised it to me to be in the building before
I'm just, I mean,
my goal was before town meeting, like, hopefully we'll be sitting in new furniture when we have this meeting.
okay. I mean,
It's very close.
it's on order and it's coming in sometime in March.
Well, the hope is February, but
Okay.
I'm
all right.
gonna be an optimist for the first time.
The police cruiser, we had at one point said we were ordering a police cruiser.
Yeah, and I will be able to finalize that here in the next couple days.
Okay, because then we would see the order coming through
Yep.
here for the,
Yeah, because we will be expending funds once I have the whole thing put together, so.
okay,
at
and
the
you are
February
talking,
meeting-
I think Wood's on here anyway, but
Yeah.
you're talking to him to make sure that we get it outfitted the
Well, I
right
haven't,
way?
yeah, we haven't talked recently, but I had the stuff, all the information, and we gotta get the thing actually on order. We just
Okay,
haven't gotten.
I'm gonna leave that
far.
up to you guys.
Is that supposed to be ordered before?
Well, this fall, we were supposed to order it. We're just running a little behind, but we will get there.
Okay. I just wanted the updates,
Yep.
because I know I'm gonna get asked after.
No, that's fine. No, we will,
Where's the
we're
furniture
in the
from one
process of
group and
getting,
where's the cruiser from the other, and.
yeah, we're trying to
Whit,
get
I had somebody at the dump ask me about, should the town get a pickup truck, and I said, that's not the select board, let the police chief put that in his budget if he needs it. Then he can come to us, and then it becomes our issue to say yes or no, all right? So,
We'll look at that.
Is there other business?
No, that's all I have anyway.
So, motion for executive session?
well, you want to ask any of these people if they have any questions on what we have? I mean, I think we should add that, we do it at the school board. We have we have public comment in the beginning, and then we have public comment at the end, that if anybody wanted to ask questions to clarify something, because a lot of times we go into executive session and we don't take action.
Right.
So is
Do you want citizens input after the
Before
possibility
and
of
after.
Before and after executive session?
Well, no, I'm saying where we have citizens input at 5,
Yeah,
so then after 15, where you have other business for tonight,
okay.
we're just gonna add another. That way, if anybody has questions
Questions
on
before
what
we
we
go to
ripped
executive.
through, because we kind of ripped through everything tonight.
Yeah.
Polly, you're up, I guess.
I like that suggestion.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions on
Nope,
what
she doesn't
just
have a
happened in the last half hour, 45 minutes? Jim, Jan, you good?
I'm not seeing
Jerry's
anything.
good?
Yeah.
I don't know who James is. You good?
I think it might be Fiore.
Okay. Whit Montgomery, you're good?
Yeah.
That's it.